29 minutes to the top of the hour, still driving your business here on the Daily Kickstart of Smart Means Business. I'm Anju Bariji. I'm with Joram Paul Sonko, and we've just been joined with Rona Nahawe to have further insights into business-related topics. But of course, before we get there, don't forget the markets on the Zabu, which have already opened. Start 292 hash is the USSD code for you there, which will avail you with quite lots of options. Where you can buy government bonds and securities for as little as 15,000. But of course, you can invest more than that, but 15,000 is the requirement. And this are running from Monday to Friday, except on the weekends and the public holidays when you can't actually access these markets. But at least you have the rest of the days to capitalize and make quite some good profit. There is no excuse as why you shouldn't own government bonds and securities with this wonderful opportunity Zabu has available for you. Regardless of where you're located, all you need is the mobile phone, whether a smartphone or a button phone, you will be able to buy securities. Now, Zabu simply says, my money, my future, and all Texas East Africa says do something new. Now, heading straight into our discussion this morning, as we join with Rona Nahawe to give us some insights regarding what we should anticipate in tonight's bulletin. Rona, very good morning, and you're very welcome to SMB this morning.
Very good morning to you
and
Sonko. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Yes, so what do you have for us? You know, we've been having a discussion, a very interesting discussion, and the viewers probably anticipate it to be elaborated more, and I guess it's quite very interesting, and it's important because there are many people that are ignorant of this information.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Well, so I just listened into you guys speaking about the minimum wage, and I don't know if you spoke about the last time it was enacted. That was around 1984 at 6,000 Ugandan shillings. You can translate that and maybe calculate what minimum wage we actually have, like if it is actually there. So yesterday was Labor Day, and you know, I was with the CS also on Sunday, and they were like, Uganda and the government just remember Labor Day on the day of celebrations, but the labor force has poor administration. Okay. It has been tied in a ministry that operates disabilities, children, women, social development. Because the ministry is Katogo. There is not enough. There is not enough time and you know time given to labor in this country.
Very true.
That's why you're listening. You're hearing from a lot of stories. You're hearing a lot of stories. Labor externalization. So many people have died in Saudi Arabia. People are being. They don't work with PPEs in flower farms. They work naked. They are getting these diseases, cancer, because there is no administration. The administration up there is work.
It's
just it is nothing
absolutely
there. So yesterday people were in Namtumba, and so you know the president awarding the front page of Daily News, is it awarding pilots, and you know. But I think the conversation, the bigger conversation, needs to go beyond what the corporate world is seeing of labor, but up to the
individual workers.
Yes, casual workers, casual laborers. Most of these ones that work for the investors, where they don't even have PPEs. They don't have any protective gear. They work in a flower farm. One CSO from Voices for Labor was lamenting how some people spray the flowers naked because they cannot afford, of which is even the mandate of their employer to buy for them that protective gear. They cannot afford to have it.
That's very dangerous for their health.
The other guy from is it Notu, Mr. Oweri Wilson? We're supposed to have him yesterday for a conversation in our business today, but unfortunately couldn't. But I'm sure he had a lot to share in regards to labor externalization.
Labor externalization, yeah.
3 people died in Saudi Arabia because of the
pressure,
not even
unfavorable
the pressure,
conditions.
but because the conditions that are not favorable for these people to go. Because at the end of the day, before those people even move up, because they're living here because of the of poor jobs, and you know, we're speaking about labor. There's a lot of labor conversations that we could speak about. Labor attaches. They were suggested, they were among the recommendations that could be given, you know, to these companies. The companies themselves that even take these people abroad. The conversation of labor and recommendations and the memos and how we can commemorate the day. I believe this is a month to speak about labor, and everything needs to start from the administration. There needs to be an independent ministry for labor, because there are a lot of underlying factors that are not given attention to, and I believe the conditions are going to even be worse if this is not brought into attention.
But actually, the president said that in the Labour Day celebration that the core factor is going to be put on welfare of workers, and as one of the ways to promote productivity. And one of the vehicles is the PDM, where he says they are going to create 70 million jobs vis-a-vis the population of 45 million. So I think
maybe
President Museveni
perhaps, but you know also, you know most Ugandans now, you can also look at that. We are just going through the statistics of unemployment.
Yeah, let's review
people go to school there, graduates, but out of the 45 million, the population of Uganda, 23.5 are the working population. 23.5 are the working population. But out of that 23 million, only 10 are the Ugandans that have that are capable or have a job to do.
Okay.
Out of that.
Okay.
Now listen to this. 42.2 million Ugandans cannot find jobs, and they have the ability to work. 14.2. So yeah, 14.2 million Ugandans cannot find work to do, and they are capable.
They have degrees, they have PhDs, some even have masters.
True.
Graduates.
But they cannot find jobs. This is according to the recent statistics.
Yes.
Now, 4.4 million. You spoke about His Excellency wanting to, revamp and move forward the PDM and whatsoever. But 4.4 million Ugandans are not in any form of education. They're not receiving any training. How are they going to make use of this money if it's given to them?
I think there are quite ways. Lately, they have been pushing for, in O-level, they have been pushing for vocational. Actually, there is revising the curriculum, O-level related, vocational related standard. And this can actually cut across, because we all know the wrong mindset we have in Uganda that, vocational education is that for people that have failed in life, but which is not true.
Actually, the technical skills are the ones that are even taking up the most jobs.
Exactly.
If you could say that. But now this is 4.4 million, and then I think this is a gap that government can tap into UPTAB, because I've seen UPTAB graduate and have a graduation ceremony of over very many Ugandans who can even join into the business venture. And listen to this, 60% of that population, Ugandans, are not looking for any jobs. Now you're complaining of the informal sector being at 70%, yet you could tap into it and get taxes. But look at the people that are not even willing to look for jobs.
So people
private sector needs to look into this. This is where the money is. A big chunk of the population is not looking for jobs. They gave up. They're in businesses. You just spoke of something about gig economy. That's where Ugandans are looking for money.
Okay.
So there is a lot. There's a bigger conversation, I believe. Maybe I might not have the whole gist of the matter, but at least I know from what I've gathered that Labour needs an upper hand.
Upper hand regarding that.
Yeah.
Joram, what's your take on what the statistics which Ron has just pulled out there before we get into our on-ground discussion?
Well, obviously, when she mentions the population of Uganda and the working population, I think it goes back to the same conversations we had regarding why members of parliament, our ministers, completely rely or whitewash Ugandans with statistics that are non-factual on ground.
By the way, yes.
There was a time there was a report we had at the start of the year that we are getting out of poverty.
Yeah.
And I think we all laughed about that.
I remember, yes.
Because when you say we are getting out of poverty, when people's businesses are collapsing, where people are actually failing, if you go in downtown Kampala, like Rona says, the money is in businesses. But when you go in downtown Kampala and you happen to just make a simple survey of arcades are empty. Shops are really empty.
True.
Someone comes up and pays for 6 months. That is because you're opening up a shop. A shop which is 1.5 to, let's say, 2. Actually, those shops are actually close to 3 million. So you're earning, you're paying 3 million per month for an arcade, for a shop in an arcade. Now, if you're paying 3 million for 6 months, that is 18 million you've paid.
Absolutely.
6 months before you start working. Now you move in and you start working. Just after 6 months, you even fail
to get back
the 18 million. So that means what you're left with is you're closing down the business. Or what most of them are actually doing is you find someone you find a shop with 2 people inside, whereby they decide to share
the rent.
And that is if at all the landlord accepts. So after that, and of course now landlords are okay with it because people now no longer go for the upper.
Because of
That's
course,
why
they,
you find
yeah.
now most of the businesses in Uganda, someone sets up an arcade. The first 3 floors are for shops. The last 201 is for lodges and bars.
Very
because
true.
they know at least if someone puts up a lodge, they'll make money. It's a quick return.
Yeah.
If it's a bar, at least you know in the night time people will still go and flag.
Perfect.
But for the shops, you find someone having a shop divided. There are 2 businesses. One is selling shoes, or let's say male shoes. The other is selling female. Or one is selling clothing.
Gadgets.
The other exactly.
Phones and
So they're actually sharing the rent of 1.5, 1.5 to meet the 3 million.
The 3
per month. But even when they are sharing, they still fail to make money.
To make the money.
And then surprisingly, the ministers will come out with
reports,
these
statistics,
and reports that the number of Ugandans are getting out of poverty. Then you ask yourself, they're getting out of poverty in a country where now people left work offices because they believed there was no money. But it seems now people are getting back to
office.
Because
you feel
you
it's
find
better.
a 40-year, 50-year-old
Yes.
applying for a job because they feel it is better to release yourself from the business stress. Because
exactly.
if you're working for someone else, the pressure is a lot on them to pay you.
Yeah.
So at least a month you know you get your 1.5 or 2 million.
No stress.
No stress. You will only get a stress of why are you late? Why didn't you do this assignment in time and everything? But at the end of the day, what are you delivering back home when you're running a business? For example, you have taxes to pay. You're having rent of the business and everything. I've seen this a couple of times. We have people actually closing down businesses, reapplying for jobs.
True.
And in the same mixture, we have people who are actually resigning from jobs
and going into business.
For only a year after it
fails, they
running
turn
back.
back.
So that clearly shows you that we are not even into. We can't come out and say we are getting out of poverty at any one point.
Okay.
Whereby people are comfortable living in. If people are still comfortable in renting, let's say a single room in our economy, and let's say if you look at most of the Ugandans in the working economy, even those who are actually owning businesses, most of the Ugandans are more comfortable. Even people with families, you find people with families
in a single room,
in a double, which clearly shows you people are minimizing expenditure. And there is no way you can approve that we are getting out of poverty with that kind of lifestyle.
If you're always minimizing, instead of thinking of how best we can increase, but even the increasing options are being halted
so
down.
We're only living in means of minimizing our expenses. You're like, if I go into, let's say, a 2-bedroom house, I'm going to pay close to 1 million or 800,000. How much will I save? And it takes me back to the argument we've been having, or the conversations we've been having here, whereby you did mention about how Indians run their economy, and how we need to pick up something or something. Is that even the level of expenditure? You find someone earning 2 million, you're driving a car of, let's say, 20 million.
20 M.
You're actually going for a loan to get that car.
that car, yes.
Now you're actually earning 2 million. You're earning 1 million. So you calculate the amount of fuel you use. The poverty discussion in Uganda should, first of all, stop being based on statistics that Ugandans are living. Yes. Because we don't, but by the look of things, we are still there.
All right, that is regarding those matters. But of course, to answer that, we have the Uganda Social Entrepreneurs came up with, that is an initiative to empower the youth. As we see that in this case, we see innovative solutions for job creation and social change, which is one of the answers to what is happening when it comes to employment, and also social companies in Uganda. We get to see that contribute over 4% of the gross domestic product. Of course, this was a seminar in a way before the Labor Day, which was held in a way to empower youth when it comes to social leadership. And still at the end of the discussion, we shall be able to see some of the beneficiaries of these schemes, why it's very important, most especially to the youth. As our economy, the youth is the dominant age group in there. Let's get into this discussion.
Now we want to create a bigger, what should I say? We want to create a bigger community of leaders, like a pool where you can pick a leader and know that this is what we have been aiming for. And we want to create that pool of leaders. We want to create a great pool. And that is why our slogan is nurturing greatness. We want to nurture greatness. We know that people have skill and potential, but that's not enough. Can you nurture that? Can you nurture that skill to now grow into something, to bloom into a big flower that now can influence? It just doesn't influence Chiwetule. It can now influence Masaka, or it can now influence Kabale or Chivale, or it can now influence Kapchora. We want to do that. We want people who can go to Karamoja and say, we are the leaders that you have been waiting for. So this is where I want to start. Yeah, we don't want to be the ones who will go to Karamoja and say, we stole your iron sheets. We want to be the ones who took them. Sorry, I'm talking about this because this is what is being talked about right now. But this is what we need to change. This is not the story that we want to create. We want to create a different story as leaders. So this is why the Inspire chapter is here. We want people that will emerge to be great leaders, and that is called emerge. I'm going to use this in the statement. Leaders, people that will emerge out of this house. You emerge into a bigger thing that now will go out to be a greater aspect or a greater asset to your communities. The Inspire chapter, we believe that many things can be changed, and we will motivate the youth. Our target is the youth. We are all youth. Doesn't matter what the age is. Why? Because even at your age, think about it, you're 97. Can you be able to influence someone that is 20? Yes, you can. So it's not because we are saying our target is the youth. We are targeting that youthfulness in you, that ability in you that can go out now and say, I'm going to change these people.
We are empowering the youth because we want them to think outside the box, to create, to innovate. One innovation can offer a number of youth opportunities. So if they can be able to create and believe within themselves and be able to think and know that they can create stuff that can help the others to be part. For example, businesses that are making progress can hire their fellow youth to work together in those businesses. So the unemployment rate should be able to change, especially when the youth are able to support their startups, to strengthen their startups and move them from just a startup to a thriving business, which even employs their fellow youth.
For the last 4 years, yes, I was doing things just, without time management. And for this time that I joined Emerge, it has taught me how to manage my time. Because as a makeup artist, most of our working hours, working days is from Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But from the time I joined Emerge, I realized that I don't have to wait until I have a client, but I can still wake up, give time to my business, be able to restructure, learn even more. What can I add in my business? What can I take out? So one of them is really time investment, to know how to really manage my time, but also to know how to deal with clients professionally on a better version of it.
Well, that is our on-ground discussion regarding the Uganda Social Entrepreneurs that is empowering the youth. And we looked at innovative solutions, one of the ways which could provide a solution. Just one word. If you were to look at this, empowering youth. I think we've had lots of programs empowering youth. We've had lots of this empowering
youth empowerment programs. To be
not
youth
even
anyway.
youth, yes.
But we've had a lot of those.
Yeah.
But I think the reason as to why they are pushing for youth empowerment is simply because the young people are the ones that are
driving this economy.
But of course they make up the largest number of the unemployed.
Very
so
true.
it's to limit the numbers of the youth that are actually going into labor externalization and all that. Not only that, also to minimize on the dormant patterns, with the fact that a number of them are not working and they lack what to do. Okay, most of them are not working because they don't want to, but most of them are not working because they have nothing to do.
Okay.
or either way, the available opportunities are still already tight. Because at times you realize you may find jobs are available. Someone tells you you're going to work for me, I'll be paying you 200,000. And then you get to realize that you're only working for transport. And
Very
the
sad.
distance of the job from where you stay is making sure you end up realizing that a month you're using, let's say, 150,000 for transport, you're earning 200,000. So, and the 50,000 is not going to make sense to you because people actually earn 50,000 a day. The people actually working and earning that. So you earning 50, and the trends have actually changed really. It's not like back in the time whereby if someone would earn 300,000 a month, the cost of living, I want to believe, wasn't as high as that.
Actually, very true.
Because if you, the argument that we've been having, the cost of living, for example,
the inflation.
Back in the early 2000s, we had chapatis go for 200 shillings.
Even 100. This
You buy pancakes of 100, you give
get
it
like
4.
10, more than even 4. 100.
So a soda was at 500 shillings. Now, if you had a soda at 500 shillings, you're earning 300,000. Rent wasn't above 100,000. Let's say a single room.
And actually,
so
the doubles
were around 120. So I'm looking at situations like that, and then if you're earning 300,000, you would do some extra jobs and maybe earn 100,000 somewhere. So a person who would earn 500,000 then would really drive a home. Because even
Very
school
true.
fees wasn't as much.
I
remember my boarding school back then in primary was around 200,000.
200, yeah, boarding, and even for big schools, it
quality
quality schools.
But now every school is a million plus. Secondary schools are so high. So
now they're
I
like
think
universities.
empowering the youth and the programs that are being set up are the way to go. But I think also creating platforms where they can easily showcase their skills or their innovations should be important as well.
Yeah, and also the key factor which I picked in here was the aspect of leadership. You know, pioneering leadership, because leadership in business is one of the key factors for it. It will determine how far the business will go. You as a business person, how are you taking control? How are you taking in charge? Because with leadership comes with selling your vision to the people that are following you. You know, and somebody to buy your vision, they should really, you should look the vision you're telling them, because it would be absurd. You explain to them all these theories about your vision, but when you don't even look like you can achieve it. Leadership skills, very key. Well, 6 minutes to the top of the hour. We've come to the end of SMB this morning. Today is the 2nd of May. And yeah, fresh new month, and of course, fresh new goals, fresh new strategies to ensure that there is productivity. I'm Andrew Barije. I've been with Joram Paul Sonko running the show. And of course, we thank you from all the way we started. That is all the way from 6:30 with the different conversations coming in till here. And a great thanks to the entire team, which is responsible to make sure that this content is put out there for you, all the way from the production, from the editorial, to till it's being put live here as we dissect it efficiently. Now, don't forget on our social media handles at Smart24 TV, that's on Twitter, and Smart24 TV Official, that's on Facebook. Smart24 TV Live, that's on YouTube, where you'll be able to get us at whatever part of the country or the world that you will be at. And you can follow me on my social media handles. Andrew Barije 94 at Andrew Barije 94, and Joram Paul Sonko, right? Yeah, Joram Paul Sonko, as we keep on having these discussions further. Well, a very good morning to us. From us to you, and of course, take care.